It's called Proper Footwear for the Occasion. As you can see, some beach sandals are resting in the sun. So let's go to the first slide. What should you wear? Depending on the circumstances, different footwear is required. For instance, if one wants to ascend a mountain, a good pair of hiking boots will be necessary. Inversely, if one wants to take a stroll down the beach, the correct footwear might be flip-flops, also known as sandals, or bare feet. Some people don't even wear shoes. They go barefooted wherever they go. This phenomenon is limited to tropical climates because it would probably hurt in the snow. Well, that's for sure. Sandals are good for light sand, thus they are called sandals because of the sand. Okay, very good. And now I have underlined the key words. I have to remember every time. Anyway, let's go for circumstances. So depending on the circumstances, different footwear is required. What circumstances? Circumstances is something happening or a state of being happening. For example, depending on the circumstances, you may need to bring a jacket. So you may need to bring a jacket if it's raining or if it's snowing. So depending on what is happening. The circumstances suggest you should drive slower. It's raining. So, because it's raining, you should drive slower. The circumstances is what is happening. It's raining, so drive slower. Another example is the circumstances have changed. It was sunny and now it's cloudy. So, again, a state of being. It's cloudy. Now it's cloudy, therefore you should maybe take off your sunglasses. Okay. The circumstances suggest we should wear lots of clothing because it's cold. That's right. It's probably very cold up there. Wow. Okay. Ascend. Ascend means to go up, or to rise, or to climb. The man ascended the mountain. He went up the mountain. Up there, okay. After the ascension to the top of the mountain, Tim drank some water. Now, ascension, this is a word that you can use for different things, but right here I'm only showing it as going up. The dictionary would certainly tell you different ways to use this. Right now I'm saying, okay, go up the mountain, drink some water. Okay. Michael wants to ascend to the top of the company. He wants to be the manager. So ascend doesn't have to be just a mountain or stairs. It could be something like the company. So he starts out at the bottom and he goes to the top. That's ascending to the top, going up. Similarly, to get to the top, ascend the escalator. This example, I said ascend a mountain, you need a good pair of hiking boots. Right? The circumstances is going on a mountain. What's needed is hiking boots. Inverse is the opposite. That's a pretty easy one. The inverse of happy is sad. Peter ordered a large greasy hamburger. Inversely, Susan ordered a small healthy salad. The inverse of 1 over 10 is 10 over 1. Or the inverse of 1/10 is 10. I guess the only way to say this is 10 over 1 or 10 divided by 1. But this one you can say 1 over 10 or 1/10 or 1 divided by 10. Whoa. The birds are inverted. Yes, I just took the picture and I turned it upside down using Photoshop. Thank you for noticing. And inversely, if one wants to take a stroll down the beach, the correct footwear might be flip-flops instead of hiking boots. So the opposite is hiking boots. So I put inversely at the start. You could also say conversely. Conversely and inversely is like the same thing. So that's a good transition. If you want to say like the opposite, blah 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 blah, you just say inversely or conversely. Okay. Phenomenon. A phenomenon is a fact, something that happens, or a great person. So, for example, people like vegetables. This phenomenon is worldwide. So it means that something happens, which is people liking vegetables, that's something happening. This thing, this phenomenon is worldwide. Everybody's doing it. Okay. Singer Celine Dion is a worldwide phenomenon. She's a great person, or something that happens. Both things. So she's an excellent singer, and people know her around the world, so she's a worldwide phenomenon. The oil spill is quite a phenomenon. It is quite a phenomenon. Period. Okay. Blue water is a phenomenon seen in the tropics. It certainly is. Although you see, it's not exclusive. It's not exclusive to the tropics. Semicolon. Blue water can be found in northern rivers and Icelandic lakes. Woohoo, okay. That's nice. Can footwear enhance your image? Many people focus on their shirts, pants, dresses, or hair to create their appearance. But can shoes enhance your image just as well? For instance, if a businessman wears Nike sneakers into a meeting, it will look somewhat odd. Similarly, if a woman wore leather business shoes to the beach, people would look at her with a curious glance. If a positive impression is to be made, one must choose footwear that is appropriate for the occasion. Proper footwear can enhance your appearance, according to this picture. So we've got two words here, enhance and impression. But you're probably wondering about this. Curious glance. Okay, so if you wear these shoes, these leather business shoes, to the beach, people would look at you with a curious glance. Curious means like you're wondering, what are you doing? And a glance just means to look at you. So they're just looking at you saying like, what are you doing? That's a curious glance. But you can use this curious word for many things, not just this phrase. And let's do this enhance. So can shoes enhance your image just as well? Enhance means to make better, or to intensify, or to be more valuable, or magnify. So for example, Mr. Johnson enhanced his car with performance upgrades. So if he wants to make his car faster or better, he can upgrade some parts. He can put better wheels and maybe some turbochargers and stuff, although that would probably cause permanent damage to the engine. But anyway, the enhancement of the building is almost finished, like this. The man is enhancing the wall with paint. He certainly is. He's painted a deer and a landscape of some, like a house, two houses, and some flowers. That's his enhancement. Okay, Susan hopes her new shoes will enhance, underline, her appearance. Well, I certainly hope they do. In this part I said, can shoes enhance your image as well? Your image would be how people look at you, how people think you are. So that's your image. I also said if a positive impression is to be made, one must choose footwear that's appropriate for the occasion. A positive impression is the same thing as like a positive image. A positive image. Same. So impression is a strong effect produced or a mark made in something. Now this is a mental thing and this is a physical thing. So for example, see there's these little marks here? These are impressions. This is physical impressions. The sandals, if you step, it makes a physical impression in the ground. But If you have these shoes and people say, "Oh, you're so beautiful," or "You're so professional," that's a, a mental impression. So it's not like you're kicking them in the face and putting a hole in their head. It's an impression of the mind. So that's why I said a mark made and a strong effect. It's two different things. Mental, physical. Okay. The impression Donald gave us was that he is a good man. So that's the mental impression. So you think Donald is good because I don't know, he's talking nice or he has nice shoes or whatever. I am impressed. You did a very good job on your report. That's a mental impression. Mary's footsteps made an impression in the ground. That's physical. That's this. This is an impression in the ground. Look at this. The smooth chairlift gave us the impression of high quality. That's a mental impression. So this chairlift is so smooth you think it's good. If the chairlift is bumpy, sometimes you get scared because you think your chair might fall off and you'll die. So it's good to have a good impression about the chairlift. Today's fluency practice has the following keywords: circumstances, ascend, inverse, phenomenon, enhance, and impression. I said phenomenon. You can also say phenomenon. To ascend your career, proper footwear can create a good impression. Your image can be enhanced with proper clothing. The inverse phenomenon is that proper clothing will make your impression worse. Depending on the circumstances, different clothing can be worn. For instance, if you are planning for the ascension of a mountain, hiking boots are a good choice. Inversely, if you are going to the beach to make impressions in the sand, wearing bare feet can enhance the experience. So, let me explain the whole thing. To ascend your career, that means to move up to a better job, make more money. To ascend your career, proper footwear can create a good impression. That is a mental impression. Your image can be enhanced with proper clothing. The inverse phenomenon, the opposite, usually I would just say the opposite is that improper clothing will make your impression worse. But because I have to use all these words in this phrase, I just put inverse phenomenon. You can hear the scooter going by in the background. I hate those 50cc scooters. They're so loud because they're two-stroke and it's anyway. The inverse phenomenon is that improper clothing will make your impression worse. Depending on the circumstances, different clothing can be worn. For instance, if you're planning for the ascension of a mountain, like if you're going to go up a mountain, wear hiking boots, or the opposite is if you're going to the beach to walk in the sand and make little holes in the sand, wear just bare feet or sandals to enhance the experience, to make it more fun. Question number 1. Under which circumstances would you ascend, go up? Going down into the basement of a house, climbing a tall mountain, or going to sleep in a tent? The answer is B. Climbing a tall mountain. Question number 2. What is the inverse of proper footwear? The opposite of proper footwear. Hiking boots for going up a mountain, sandals for going to the beach, or business shoes for going swimming? The answer is C. You would not wear business shoes for going swimming. Number 3. What is most enhancing? Putting water on your car, painting your house in bright colors, or placing a chair next to a table? This is the most enhancing, painting your house bright colors. And number 4, what would make a good impression? Wearing business shoes to a meeting, wearing Nike sneakers to a meeting, or wearing a swimsuit to a meeting? A good impression would be wearing business shoes to a meeting.